Good evening. There's utter lawlessness that returns to Delhi's Patiala House courts today, where lawyer goons go on the rampage again. The same ones who beat up journalists earlier this week and assaulted more journalists today, and also the main accused JNU student president Kanhaiya Kumar. Is there no respect for law, particularly in the national capital? Is this what nationalism is about? Beating up young reporters and other lawyers? We'll also be joined by Union Minister Prakash Javadekar a little later in the program. Well, this day of shame resulted in an intervention by the Supreme Court today, which actually had to send a team of senior lawyers to Patiala House to report back on what's happening. The JNU student arrested for sedition was kicked and punched by a group of lawyers who then went on to abuse and throw stones and flower pots at the Supreme Court team. Bizarrely, the police have still not arrested anyone, even though some of those leading the violence today were caught on camera 2 days ago doing exactly the same thing.
Kanhaiya Kumar, 28 and booked for sedition. His crime apparently so grave that a gang of lawyers dragged him, punched him and kicked him as the arrested JNU student leader was being rushed into court, protected with a riot shield. The attackers later boasting to cops that their job is done.
And they were saying that isko goli maro, phansi do.
All right, they were saying goli maro, phansi do to Kanhaiya.
Kanhaiya.
The attack on Kanhaiya Kumar continued even inside the court premises while he was brought in and taken up to the building where the courtroom is located. A number of lawyers followed in him and continued to assault him. In fact, Kanhaiya also gave a written statement to this effect to the judge, pointed out inside the courtroom that one of his assaulters was sitting right in front of him. But despite this clear evidence in front of them, the police failed to detain the assaulter.
The student leader, battling injuries on his face and hands, told the court, "I believe in India's unity. I strongly back the constitution. I condemn what happened on the 9th of February. Did not say anything that was anti-national or anti-India." Kanhaiya Kumar was sent to 14-day judicial custody in Tihar.
If he applies for the bail, we have no objection if he gets the bail.
After asserting for days that there was enough proof of sedition, Delhi's top cops climbed down on the JNU case, coming a little too late. His force equally late in their reaction this afternoon in court. At around 1 p.m, as chaos and violent clashes erupted, the police again failed to intervene or control the mob, in a shocking repeat of Monday's assault. Showing utter disrespect for the law, a group of 200 lawyers turned hooligans, screaming, "Vande Mataram bolna hoga." The gang of lawyers led by this man, Vikram Singh Chauhan, who has been named, shamed, identified. Caught on camera twice in 2 days, but strangely yet to be arrested by the police.
आज हम गुंडे बन गए हैं जो पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद कह रहे हैं हिंदुस्तान मुर्दाबाद कह रहे हैं वो आप लोगों ने हीरो बना दिए हैं.
You asked a cop to get you outside the campus because things were heating up.
Yes.
What was his response?
No, he was doing, one of them was continuously saying, "Nahi abhi aap andar raho, nahi abhi aap andar raho." When
The mob storming the court premises despite an order restricting access, brazenly defying India's top court, which had in the morning reprimanded a lawyer, reminding the men in black of their oath.
शर्मिंदा हो गया अगर लॉयर्स लोग मारते जर्नलिस्ट को. लॉयर्स कोर्ट में मार क्या किया? नहीं, we must keep our sense of balance.
So there is a lot of commotion, and even on this side, as at the fence here, where somebody just threw a stone a little while back at the entire media contingent here. Okay, this is the stone that you see, which has been thrown from inside the Patiala House court to outside the fence where the media is.
As the court turned into a war zone, the top court rushed a 6-member team with police escorts to assess the situation. Eminent lawyers like Kapil Sibal, Dushyant Dave, Rajiv Dhawan also greeted with abusive slogans and even hit with stones.
The team of lawyers was unequivocal when it told the Supreme Court that there was an unprecedented atmosphere of fear at the Patiala House Court, and they were hurled with a stream of endless abuses. And had it not been for their own police security, they were certain to have been beaten black and blue. In New Delhi, with Tanima Biswas and Sonal Mehrotra, Ketki Angre for NDTV.
Well, INB Minister Arun Jaitley has just tweeted that the media has an unhindered right to report and that the attack on media persons is highly improper and condemnable. So a strong statement coming there from INB Minister Arun Jaitley. Well, the issue really now has shifted in a sense from the sloganeering we saw at JNU, and that is one separate issue on one hand, and what has been happening in the Patiala House Court on 2 days in this week. We have Arvind Gupta, the head of the BJP's National IT Cell, here in the studio with us. From the RSS, Professor Rakesh Sinha. Also with us tonight, Prashant Bhushan, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court, Mr. Soli Sarabji, the former Attorney General of India. Mr. Sarabji, let me ask you first, sir, how do you look at this behavior by those who are supposed to be upholders of the law, these lawyers at the Patiala House Courts? Sir, shouldn't the Bar Council have taken action by now?
I think it's a misnomer to call them lawyers. They're not lawyers, they're gundas. Is that the way to behave? It should be impossible for any person to get a fair trial. Any accused, they may not like his views, but they can't attack the lawyers appearing for him or the journalists. And what's more, despite the Supreme Court's intervention and sending a team, even then they attack them. So I think now time has gone to give strong words and big, strong adjectives. We must take action. Must smash it in the bud, not nip it in the bud, smash it. And I agree, Bar Council should take immediate action and expel these people who don't deserve to belong to the fraternity of lawyers.
But so the question is that, what, are you shocked at the reaction of those that have the power to act against these people? I mean, one is of course the police, which has had videos of some of these who have led, some of these alleged lawyers who have led these protests and beaten up people in the last couple of days. But the Bar Council, does the Bar Council have no teeth? Does it? I mean, why hasn't it acted until now, according to you?
Well, I suppose they will be acting. They should be acting. And I suppose after giving him a notice, which they have to, and then do the need to expel them. As I said, I feel ashamed to see the lawyers behaving in a fashion which hooligans do. And this is very dangerous for the administration of justice. You can't do it. It can't happen. It must not be allowed to happen. This virus cannot spread.
Well, Arvind Gupta, I'll take Mr. Sarabji's strong words to you. He says he feels ashamed of the behavior of these so-called lawyers. He calls it hooliganism, and it's dangerous to the administration of justice. Your comments today on what we have seen unfold at the Patiala House Court?
See, I think very clearly, Mr. Jaitley has as you just said, has said that media has a right to report, and they should be reporting unhindered. So whatever has happened there is something that all of us should condemn. There is no doubt about that. But to associate and turn the focus from JNU to Patiala House, I think the whole debate was about JNU and what happened in JNU. And unfortunately, the real anarchy that happened in the capital, that was at the JNU, has been turned into this media frenzy and the war zone like situation at Patiala House Courts. The real issue is still not being addressed, which is the JNU issue.
But this is also an issue, and you would agree with that. I mean,
I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. But the core issue, I'm not denying that. But the core issue still remains that why this has reached this flashpoint is because I think we are not able to come out strongly and condemn what happened in JNU. People have made heroes out of those people. The so-called students, if we are saying they are not so-called lawyers, I think the students who are acted in totally against the country and raised such seditious slogans, and the definition of sedition can be debated by lawyers and legal luminaries, but I think that whole fact is turned into now.
Are you making a link between the way these lawyers have beaten up people and JNU?
I'm not trying to make a link, but what I'm saying is the real anarchy is not being talked about. The real anarchy happened at the JNU campus.
But this is anarchy too, and I say that
no,
because
they are two different things.
They are two different things, but this is also anarchy because Prashant Bhushan, it's happening in the national capital, a walking distance from India Gate, under the nose of the Supreme Court, by officers of the court, people who are supposed to be protecting and upholding the law. And that's why, these are two separate things, but this is important as well, what has happened in the Patiala House Courts over the last couple of days.
No, this is, Nidhi, by far the most important thing. This is fascism masquerading as nationalism. When you have a situation where lawyers or anybody else says that, look, because you are from JNU, we will beat you up. Because you are not raising what we call nationalistic, what they consider nationalistic slogans, we will beat you up. That we will not allow you to come in. We will disrupt the court proceedings. We will kill the accused person in this case. And what is he accused of? I mean, he did not even raise those slogans. There is absolutely no evidence whatsoever to suggest that he raised any objectionable slogan whatsoever. Just because he is the president of the JNU Students' Union, you have charged him with contempt, put him in police custody, etc. for so many days, and then you allow a group of lumpen goons to come and beat him up when you take him to the court for being produced, and the police stands there watching as bystanders. I mean, clearly the police is doing the bidding of its political masters, unfortunately. There is a Supreme Court judgment about police reforms, Prakash Singh's case. The whole object of that judgment was to free the police from the strangulating control of their political masters. But unfortunately, that judgment has not been implemented, and police continues to be used as a political instrument. And today, unfortunately, it is being used for fascist ends, which is masquerading as nationalism. Tomorrow, if I say that, look, all those people who are saying ki this Ram Mandir wahi banao, etc., they are the most anti-national people because they are going against the constitution. If I say that the RSS, which says that we want a Hindu Rashtra, these are the most anti-national people, they are going against the constitution. And if I say beat up all the RSS people, and unless they desist from saying these things, we will beat them up, etc., what will happen to the rule of law?
Okay,
this is
okay.
all, this is being
let me
justified.
take what you said to Professor Sinha first. Firstly, let's just look at purely on basis of facts. Would you agree that the Delhi police has not shown itself in the best light in the course of this week, Professor Sinha, and that this has been an utter failure of law and order by the Delhi police as well?
In democracy, there is various scope to exhibit your anger. This is not the way. Violence is not the means to exhibit your anger. So any kind of violence engaged by anyone should be condemnable, and police should take action. There is no doubt that anyone who is indulging in violence. Second thing, what I say, such kind of acts has subsided the real issue what happened in JNU. But I have also a campaign against the media. Media is the fourth estate. It is your prerogative to have a debate on the issues and subjects. And I have a question to you as a media person, and also Sitaram Yechuri. I have just seen his tweet that yesterday a 26-year-old boy, Sujit, was brutally killed in Kannur district in Kerala. That assumes significance because not that he was an RSS man or he was a Hindu. That assumes significance that 6 CPM people were arrested, and 4 days ago the CPM district secretary of Kannur was arrested. P. Jayaraman was arrested for killing an RSS worker. He surrendered in the court. And another dimension of this Kannur violence is that there are 2 members from Kannur, Balakrishnan and P.N. Vijayan. 2 members are in the CPM's Politburo, and there are 5 members in CPM Politburo from Kerala. Out of 20 members of CPM Politburo, 5 members belong to Kerala, 2 members belong to CPM.
So you are saying that there is a hypocrisy?
No, my question is to Prashant Bhushan. He is projecting himself as the champion of human rights, and also question to entire media fraternity that this scuffle was important, and I think it is important. It should be discussed. It should be condemned.
It's not a scuffle.
Whatever you call.
I just want to state on record, we did cover
I
the
call it a right.
yesterday.
I call it a right. Go to that extent. It is right. But do you consider?
It's not a right. It's not a right, Mr. Sinha.
Let me complete. Prashant Bhushanji, you are a lawyer. Prashant Bhushanji, don't be impatient. Don't be impatient. Let me complete my point of view. You are becoming a champion of human rights, but you have not a word for Sujit. Why? Why didn't you do a tweet on Sujit? Why don't you question Sitaram Yechuri? Those people, no, of course
not. Violence has to be condemned.
One sentence. Can you condemn the CPM Do you condemn CPM here?
Of
That
course.
CPM, you condemn CPM?
Of course, whoever was responsible in it.
How it is,
Let him
this
answer.
case
Let
is
him
different from
answer the
Akhlaq?
question,
to be condemned.
How this case is different from Akhlaq?
No. So, one second. First of all, Mr. Bhushan, do you want to answer that particular question that has been posed to you on Kannur?
Of course, the brutal killing of that person, whether he was from RSS, BJP, wherever, is totally shocking and condemnable. It's the most brutal and shocking thing that can happen. But that does not justify these goons and a gang, a mob of these goon BJP type lawyers who come and attack the accused person inside the court, who come and attack the media, who come and attack defense lawyers, etc.
There can be anger. There can be people who are non-BJP.
So many photographs have appeared of this.
And you are responding to my question. You are responding to my question on Kannur. You have not taken initiative. Why? Why there is two parameters in your life about the human rights of in the country?
No, but one second. Why do we get into whataboutery? That's another thing. Let's not get into what's happened in Kannur is condemnable, and what has happened in Delhi with, I mean, my colleague, for instance, Arvind Gupta, my colleague has been manhandled in the court. She has given a gut-wrenching account of how she was threatened. She's what, 25 years old. What has she done? She was just trying to do her job. So, is there an outright condemnation of this behavior? Let's not justify any violence.
I started with that.
Yeah.
I started with that. There is absolutely no denying. We need to condemn it, and that's absolutely clear. It is, but what I am trying to say is, I take strong objection to what Mr. Prashant Bhushan has said. These are BJP goons. They are not BJP goons. Just because that person, one person that you are showing has some photographs with some leaders does not at all make him a BJP person. Many people have photographed with many people in a public forum.
So
public
you disown him?
No.
Nothing to do with BJP?
Of course not. Anybody shouting Bharat Mata ki Jai, you are making them a BJP person? Has that become a new criteria to become a BJP member? We are very nationalist. We are very proud of that. Let me state it. But media is now inventing new and new ways of making everybody
masquerading as nationalist.
No. I strongly condemn that. You are putting everything wrong that is there in this debate is being said by you, Mr.
Anybody who wants to kill dissent and freedom of expression
Professor Mukherjee
is a fascist.
Yeah, but the problem here, and it's already happening on the program, is how we define who a nationalist is. And what's happened is that it's become such a polarized debate that now we're pointing fingers at each other and saying you're anti-national because you have a different point of view. Is that what's happening? Are we becoming more and more polarized as people?
I think the one criteria that we had in this country for who's a nationalist before independence was those who fought and supported the Indian struggle for independence. So there was a very clear-cut criteria. There were parties and groups which fought that struggle, and there were parties and groups which didn't fight that struggle, and we all know who they are. After independence, obviously the criteria changes of who is national and who is not national. But the issue is, are we talking about what is there in the Constitution, or are we talking about all of us having our own definition of nationalism which we are entitled to and then imposing it on others? Okay. I think that this whole debate of national and anti-national is a very dangerous one, because how do I attribute to myself the right to decide who is national and who is anti-national? There is no such category. Excuse me, can you let me finish, please? Okay. I'm saying if somebody transgresses the law, that's one. So to me, what is reprehensible and condemnable is when the line between a peaceful protest and a violent protest or a violent assault is crossed. I think that's a very important line, and it's there in our legal system.